We are living in an age where everything urges us to react. A single comment on social media, a disapproving look, or a disguised piece of criticism wrapped in concern, and suddenly we are swept away. Somewhere along the way, we lost our sense of agency. We let the outer world steer our emotions and dictate our actions. Each event that occurs shakes us, pulls us further from the center of our inner being. But what if I told you that there exists a power even greater than the ability to react quickly? A power that arises from the capacity to observe, understand, and transcend rather than merely respond. Carl Jung, the man who ventured into the very depths of the human soul, revealed that true freedom does not come from reaction, but from choice. Every time we react unconsciously, we surrender a piece of our own power. Yet, when we choose from a state of awareness, we return to the truth of who we are. Calmness does not mean the absence of turmoil. It is the light of clarity shining amidst chaos. Imagine yourself walking through life with a steady mind, an inner voice that is serene, and a will that remains unshaken, even as the world around you changes by the minute. No, this is not mere hope. It is a possibility. And in this journey, we will explore how to live differently, to live with depth, with intention, and with true freedom. The path is not smooth, but if you walk it with patience, it can utterly transform your life. To stop reacting to everything does not mean becoming indifferent or cold. It means learning to discern what is worth your attention. It means knowing when to speak and when to let go. You begin to preserve your energy for what truly matters instead of wasting it on petty arguments or being wounded by words from those who cannot perceive your worth. The first truth to understand is this: every impulsive reaction is a mirror, reflecting the inner world you carry within. When someone makes you angry or uneasy, it is not because they control you, but because, unconsciously, you have given them that power. Your reaction stems from unhealed wounds, from old stories you still carry, from pains that have never been acknowledged. As Jung said, what you deny will rule you. Once you accept your emotions, your fears, your imperfections, you begin to reclaim the power of choice. When you stop running from your emotions, they no longer rule you. You observe them, recognize them, and act from a place of inner balance. That is a profound shift, because not everything deserves your energy. Some situations exist only to test your inner peace. You can choose not to be drawn in. Some people cast words like traps, waiting for your reaction, as if it were a game they want you to play. But you are not someone so desperate for validation that you lose yourself. You are no longer the one dragged by provocation. You are a conscious soul, steady enough to discern what is worthy of your focus and what is merely a passing shadow. To remain calm is not easy. It is a spiritual discipline. Like all forms of mastery, it demands perseverance, courage, and clarity of direction. You are not here to control others. You are here to master yourself. In a world filled with noise and agitation, where people are swept into arguments, emotional storms, and a frantic pace, stillness becomes a form of rebellion. When others raise their voices, you hold your silence. When the world is chaotic, you return to your breath. When everything seems to fall apart, you stand firm in the eye of the storm. And from that place, from the space where you are no longer shaken by the external, you begin to truly choose. Not by reflex, but by consciousness. This is not just a fleeting lesson. It is a reminder. You can return to your inner strength. You can live a life guided by purpose, not by circumstance. You are not a leaf blown by the wind. You are a tree with roots, with a trunk, standing tall even as the storm rages. If these words touch you, walk with me to the end of this path. For what follows will not only transform the way you react, it may transform the way you live. Many believe that calmness is an inborn trait. They say, I'm just impulsive. I can't help it. But that is not true. Calmness is not a gift. It is a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. We have been conditioned to react, not to reflect. Since childhood, we were taught to defend ourselves, to respond quickly, to never let things slide. Almost no one taught us to breathe before speaking, to pause before deciding, to observe before judging. But the secret lies right there, in that sacred moment of pause. That tiny space between stimulus and response, that is where your true power resides. Reaction is automatic. Response through awareness is the act of a master. Jung understood that the unconscious governs our lives when we fail to recognize it. Everything we refuse to face within ourselves, we project onto the world around us. That is why, when something irritates or disturbs you, it is not merely the outer event, it is the unresolved parts within calling for your attention. Imagine someone saying something offensive to you. If you are at peace within yourself, you can see their words for what they are, a reflection of their own inner world, not a threat to yours. But if you carry wounds still unhealed, their words strike you like arrows because they touch the pain you have not yet faced. So what can you do? First, practice inner silence. You do not need to respond to everything. You do not need an opinion on every matter. True strength lies in restraint, in the urge to speak, yet choosing not to, in listening without dominating, in letting the noise pass without letting it shake you. Second, observe your triggers. Notice the situations that make you lose balance, the people who stir chaos within you. Write them down, not with guilt, but with curiosity. Each trigger is not a sign of weakness, but an opportunity for healing. It's not about changing others, but about understanding yourself. Every moment of discomfort points to a place within you that still needs attention. Third, question your need to be right. So often we react because we believe silence means defeat, as if not defending ourselves equals losing. But in truth, silence can be the most powerful response. Power often lies not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say. The person who no longer needs to raise their voice has mastered the moment. Remember this: reaction is slavery. Choice is freedom. Jung emphasized that self-knowledge is the only path to liberation. To truly know yourself is to discern when your anger is justified and when it is merely the echo of an old wound. Every emotional outburst is not always about the present. It is often the past knocking, asking to be seen. So the next time something threatens to drown you, pause, breathe, close your eyes if you must, and ask yourself, is this worth it? If the answer is no, let it go. You have nothing to prove to anyone. Your energy is too precious for every petty conflict. Do not waste it. If these words bring you calm or clarity, consider sharing them. Someone out there might need them just as you once did. A single moment of understanding, a single message, can change a day or even a life. One of the greatest illusions we hold is believing that reaction equals strength. In truth, those who react to everything are the easiest to move. Real power lies in stillness, the power to stand firm even when the world tries to pull you apart. Carl Jung described it with haunting clarity. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And that, perhaps, is the ultimate awakening. To stop being a slave to impulse and become the master of your soul. They are deeply ingrained habits, inherited patterns, unresolved wounds, and silent memories we have never dared to face. That is why the practice of awareness is essential. Begin to observe yourself as a witness, neutral, present, non-judgmental. Do not analyze or condemn. Simply watch. What do you feel? What do you think? How do you act? What happens inside you when someone challenges your ideas? How do you react when things don't go your way? Every reaction has a root, and when you find that root, you find freedom. There are people who live in a constant state of tension, ready to explode over the smallest mistake, as if every criticism is a threat to their worth. They cannot bear to be questioned. They live as though they are under attack. But the problem is not the world around them. It is the unresolved conflict within. They have not made peace with their inner world. Calmness is not something you are born with. It is something you train. Training the mind does not mean avoiding emotions. It means learning not to be trapped in them. It is not repression, nor pretending that nothing hurts. It is responding with awareness instead of impulse. You can set boundaries without raising your voice. You can speak your truth without losing control. You can walk away from conflict without feeling defeated. This is where the idea of emotional dignity emerges. Emotional dignity means knowing that your worth is not up for negotiation in an argument. It means you don't have to attend every battle you are invited to. It means preserving your energy for what truly matters. If you truly wish to become someone who chooses instead of reacts, here are 3 powerful practices to begin. First, conscious breathing. Before responding, pause and take 3 slow, deep breaths. This simple act activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part that restores calm and brings you back to control. Second, reflective writing. At the end of each day, spend a few minutes journaling the moments that made you lose balance. What triggered you? How did you react? How could you have responded differently? Over time, this practice trains your awareness, helping you recognize emotional patterns and transform them consciously. Third, the sacred pause. If something disturbs you, don't react immediately. Give yourself space, a few minutes, an hour, even a day if needed. Reactivity thrives in haste, and haste is often a trap. Not everything that upsets you deserves an instant response. Sometimes, the true act of strength is to observe, understand, and let go. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. Learning to pause is not weakness, it is mastery. The more you learn to choose your reactions, the more you reclaim your life from automatic patterns. That is the beginning of true freedom. That is the silent power of a conscious mind. In Carl Jung's words, you may know all the theories and master all the techniques, but when it comes to touching a human soul, be just another human soul. And this applies to how you treat yourself. Treat yourself with kindness, compassion, and patience. Every step you take toward inner calm is a step toward inner freedom. If these words resonate with you, if you feel that this message holds the power to change a life, honor it, share it. Someone out there may be waiting for a message like this to begin rewriting their story. Maybe right now you feel that controlling your reactions is a losing battle. Maybe you've tried to stay calm, but suddenly you explode. You promise yourself you'll change, but it happens again. One wrong word, a misunderstood gesture, a bad day, and everything collapses. Let me tell you something important. Change is not a straight line. There will be steps forward and steps back, good days and days that shake your foundation. What truly matters is your decision to keep walking toward the better version of yourself. Carl Jung understood deeply that no one becomes whole until they make peace with their shadow. What does that mean? It means that wanting calm or balance is not enough. You must face everything within you that you don't want to see. Your repressed anger, your insecurities, your fears, your need for control. As long as you refuse to confront these aspects, they will continue to rule your life from the dark. You cannot heal what you refuse to face. So often, our reactions arise from a constant state of defense, as if the world were a battlefield and we must always guard ourselves. Living like that is exhausting. Every situation becomes a threat, every comment an attack, every disagreement a war. The secret lies in changing the meaning you assign to events. You cannot always control what the world throws at you, but you can always control how you receive it. If someone criticizes you, you can take it as a personal attack or as a chance to build confidence. If someone ignores you, you can feel rejected or remind yourself that your value is not measured by another's attention. That kind of inner freedom cannot be bought or faked. It must be cultivated. This is where a powerful tool comes in, one that few truly use: active imagination. Before a difficult conversation, before facing a stressful situation, Close your eyes and visualize yourself remaining calm. See yourself breathing deeply, speaking clearly, and walking away with dignity. This practice trains your mind to react the way you choose, not the way you were conditioned. And if one day you fail, do not punish yourself. Learn from it. Adjust. Try again. No one becomes wise overnight. Emotional maturity is built through small victories over yourself. Every time you choose not to react, you strengthen the muscle of awareness. Surround yourself with people who nurture your calm, not those who constantly challenge it. Your environment matters, not to isolate yourself, but to be intentional about the energies you allow near you. Above all, take care of your inner dialogue. Many of your outer reactions mirror the words you whisper to yourself when no one listens. If you are harsh with yourself, you will be harsh with others. If you treat yourself with compassion, you will treat the world with greater patience. Carl Jung said it beautifully. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. This is your moment to awaken, to stop being a slave to every stimulus and become the master of your choices. If you have come this far, it is because you are ready. This is not just another video. This is the beginning of a silent revolution, the revolution of those who no longer wish to live by reaction, but by choice. Now that you know you can choose between reaction and calm, there is something deeper to understand. Your energy is your most precious currency. Every reaction spends it, mentally, emotionally, physically. If you pause and observe your life, you'll realize that most of your energy is consumed by what does not deserve it. Meaningless arguments, repetitive thoughts, endless social comparisons, needless misunderstandings. We've all been there. But must we really exhaust our minds and hearts for such things, when the world will keep moving regardless of our emotions? The real question is, what are you spending your energy on? On what drains you, or on what helps you grow? Carl Jung discovered a profound truth. True balance does not come from controlling the outer world, but from redirecting energy within. Growth begins not by fighting the world, but by healing your inner one. It is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming deep. Wisdom is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to feel everything without being consumed by it. It is the ability to stand in the storm without dissolving into it. When someone speaks words that could hurt, you understand they do not define you. They reveal the state of the one who spoke them. You know when to speak and when to walk away, quietly, yet with dignity. Wisdom does not emerge overnight. It is shaped through a quiet habit, rare, disciplined, and transformative, the habit of cultivating awareness in every thought. Every thought is a seed. If you keep sowing fear, doubt, and judgment into your mind, it should not surprise you when life feels dark and heavy. But if you begin to plant thoughts of understanding, inner strength, and peace, you will witness a subtle transformation unfolding within. Most people react unconsciously because they have never learned to pause between thought and action. But you are different. Because the very moment you become aware of that gap, you have already stepped onto the path of transformation. A thought arises, an emotion ignites, the body reacts. You slam your hand on the table, raise your voice, make a hasty choice, and regret it moments later. That is why learning to interrupt the cycle is essential. The next time something disturbs you, practice this simple ritual. Quietly name the emotion you feel. I am angry. I am disappointed. This activates the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and takes away the power of impulse. Then repeat to yourself, I can choose how to respond. It sounds simple, but it is profoundly powerful. Calmness is trained in small things, in waiting, in traffic, in awkward conversations, in your mistakes, in other people's mistakes, in unexpected comments, in the message that never arrives. Each moment is a new opportunity to choose, to act from awareness or from impulse. Your environment also plays a crucial role. Who do you share your energy with? What kind of content do you consume? What kinds of conversations do you nurture? Carl Jung once said, "Show me a person who feeds on chaos, and I will show you one living in inner conflict." So ask yourself, are you feeding your calm or your conflict? A strategic way to protect your peace is to create daily rituals of silence and clarity. You don't need hours, just 5 or 10 minutes alone with yourself. No screens, no distractions, only you, your breath, and your thoughts. That space becomes your sanctuary, your inner foundation. If this message has helped you see life from a new perspective, consider leaving a simple declaration: I choose calm. By doing so, you join a quiet movement, a community of those who have chosen to rewrite their story from within. Now, you are building a new relationship with yourself. And it's time to understand something essential. Calm is not a destination. It is a daily practice. You will never reach a moment where everything is permanently fixed. There will always be challenges. There will always be people who provoke you. There will always be situations that test you. That is not failure. That is life. The difference lies in how you choose to live it. Carl Jung believed that the goal of life is not perfection, but wholeness. Not to eliminate strong emotions, but to integrate them. It is recognizing your shadow without being ruled by it. Feeling your anger without letting it control your actions. Accepting that you are human and still choosing peace. That is emotional maturity, and it does not happen overnight. One principle can accelerate your growth: radical responsibility. Radical responsibility means you take full ownership, not for what happens to you, but for how you respond to what happens. You cannot control if someone yells at you, but you can control whether you add fire or stay calm. Many get lost here. They mistake calmness for weakness. They think if you don't fight back instantly, you are tolerating disrespect. But that is not the truth. Calmness is not submission, it is wisdom. Calmness is not passivity. IT is strategy. Calmness is controlled power. One of the most powerful practices to sustain that power is intelligent detachment. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop attaching yourself to what you cannot control. Detach from opinions, outcomes, judgments, expectations. Detachment is not coldness. It is freedom. When you learn to release what is not yours to carry, you liberate yourself from invisible burdens that were never meant to be yours. That inner freedom builds a different kind of confidence, a quiet, grounded confidence that needs no proof. Have you noticed that some people radiate peace without saying a word? That is not coincidence. It is consequence. The result of years choosing not to be pulled into chaos, of training their mind, body, and spirit to act from their center. You can become one of them. Not tomorrow, not in some ideal future, but beginning today. Each moment gives you another chance to choose again. Even if yesterday you reacted poorly, even if you lost control, even if you were swept away, today you can choose differently. It's not about erasing the past, but learning from it. Not about avoiding conflict, but walking through it with dignity. If you wish to anchor everything you've learned so far, make this promise to yourself. From now on, I will not waste my energy on what does not build me. From now on, I choose to respond with awareness. Write it somewhere visible. Remember it when emotions rise. Read it when you feel yourself slipping. This is not just affirmation. This is a declaration of power. You have come this far, not by accident, but because at some point in your life, you decided you were done reacting to everything. You realized you deserve more than emotional explosions, meaningless arguments, and restless thoughts that steal your peace. You decided it was time to become the leader of your life, not the servant of your impulses. That decision, though silent, is a profound transformation. Carl Jung left us an unforgettable truth. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. You have begun that awakening. You have chosen to look within, to understand, to heal, and to live more consciously. The path to calm is not perfect. It's not about how many times you stay calm, but how many times you try again after failing. Real strength is not measured by perfection, but by perseverance. Every time you choose silence over shouting, reflection over reaction, compassion over judgment, even if no one notices, even if no one applauds, you are winning. You are evolving. You are growing in peace. And when that inner peace becomes genuine, it begins to influence everything around you. At first, it's subtle, like a soft breeze calming the air. But soon, it transforms your entire life. Your relationships flow more easily. Your decisions become clearer. Your days feel lighter. Why? Because you no longer react from old wounds, habits, or fears. You are no longer living on autopilot. You have begun to act consciously from a place of freedom. That is true freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want without consequence. True freedom is the ability to pause, to breathe, to feel the pull of anger or pride, and still choose the higher path. To say, yes, I could shout, I could blame, I could strike back. But instead you ask, what outcome do I truly desire from this moment? And then you act, not from emotion, but from intention. That is power. The power to choose your words wisely, the power to choose your battles intelligently, the power to protect your energy as if it were sacred, because it is. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you are not only helping yourself, you are healing something much greater. You are becoming the end of a repeating cycle, a cycle that may have lived silently for generations before you. You are no longer merely reacting by instinct. You are rewriting the script. The peace you cultivate each day is not only a gift to yourself, it is a gift you offer the world. Every time you refuse to be pulled into anger, every time you answer with kindness instead of defense, every time you choose to listen rather than argue, you change the atmosphere around you. You create a space where people feel safer to breathe, to be honest, to open their hearts. You become the one who does not dominate space, but guards it with loving presence. Your new role is not to always have answers, nor to debate for the sake of the ego. You no longer need to win every exchange or prove your point at any cost. Instead, you become the person who pauses, who steps back, not to control, but to uphold, knowing that sometimes the truest thing is not to speak, but to keep stillness. Because peace is often more valuable than being right. If these words have stilled you for a moment, if something within whispers that you needed this, do not keep it to yourself. Let the energy spread. Send it to someone else, someone who is also walking towards stillness, learning to live with a gentle heart in a turbulent world. Become part of the wave that is awakening, the wave that breaks the old pattern where people only react instead of understand. Be the link that initiates awareness, not the link that repeats conflict. This world has more than enough shouting, accusations, and suspicion. What humanity needs are souls who inspire through quiet presence, leaders of unloud power. This may be the moment that marks an entirely new chapter in your life, where the self is no longer measured by the volume of its reactions, but by conscious presence and inner depth. You are not the surge of anger. You are not the vague fear. You are not the flicker of impatience or insecurity. You are the one who sees them. You are the one who can choose how to meet each emotion. In the silent space between stimulus and response, where you no longer act unconsciously, your true power begins to blossom. Thank you for walking with me this far. Thank you for sitting down, listening, and allowing these words to sound within your space. Now carry this energy into your actions, your words, your decisions. Enter the world not as someone ready to fight, but as someone ready to listen, feel, and understand. Choose calm again and again until it becomes your natural breath, until the peace within you becomes the gift you offer life.